Very bumpy for Supercross suspension, and so it's why we get tired very easy. And but the track is very fun, and it's more like an outdoor track than a Supercross.
They're all looking at this young man, Jeremy McGrath. This unique Daytona track makes the crews almost totally redo the bikes for the regularly enclosed Supercross tracks. Team Chaparral Yamaha scheduled extra testing sessions nearby during this week. To prep for this week's Daytona Supercross, Team Chaparral Yamaha decided that a little extra testing was in order for the men in blue to prepare for the tough motocross-style Daytona track.
Actually, we get pretty lucky because we have Rich Hughes' track here that we get to ride for 2 days. And it's actually a little more extreme than what Daytona will be. It's deeper sand. And basically what you're going to do to change the bike is Jeremy usually finds a setup he's pretty happy with, and he doesn't really change much. Even like the front tire that he uses, the same one he used in Atlanta 2 weeks ago, we used here on the sand track today because he just likes the way it feels. For Jeremy, the things we'll change on the engine is just try to get a little bit more power out of the engine. We've had to lighten up on the power a little bit because the normal indoor Supercross tracks are really tacky, and he has a tendency to wheelie on the start. And we've had to give it a little bit less power so that he can get better starts. And he would rather have a little bit more power, but if you can't get the start, well, it's kind of a situation that you got to give and take.
Yeah, Daytona's kind of really confusing, actually. It's, I mean, it's tough to get the bike working here because it's only one time a year. We don't have anything like it. And you get square holes, you get some hard pack, you get some loops with a lot of grooves in them. And for me, basically, I, soften my forks a little, soften my rear quite a bit, and run it.
Although it's a Supercross, Daytona is considered more like an outdoor national with a 30-rider field, the hot Florida weather, and the rough, choppy course. This is all translated into a different type of winner. 6 former Supercross champions have never won here. So why would a 3-time Daytona winner and a 6-time Supercross champion feel he needs extra preparation?
The track's really rough. No one ever said I could win the race. And, it's kind of been a motivational point to prove the critics wrong. But I don't mind a rough track now. I really like it. I'm plenty strong, and, Daytona's been a good race for me.
We're getting set for heat number 3 now, and off and running with Jeremy McGrath, David Huffman, Sebastian Tortelli, Heath Voss, Kevin Klein, and it's Jeremy McGrath. But look out on the inside. Kevin Klein. And Tortelli now starting to make a move toward Jeremy McGrath.
Tortelli needed to get off right behind McGrath here, Art. He really needed to do the best start he could, even ahead of him if possible.
Our shot from the Monster.com Bill Blimp as Jeremy McGrath tries to secure the lead against Sebastian Tortelli. Don't forget now in the 250s, the 1 through 5 in each qualifying heat advance directly to the main event. Then they'll have a semifinal round where the top 6 gain entrance to the main event. Out of the LCQ, the 250s, it is then the first 3 bikes across the finish line, rounding out a 30-rider gate here at Daytona. Most unusual sight to see 30 bikes coming off that gate.
Take a look at Tortelli right here. He's starting to lose just inches to McGrath, which is a bad sign in the first lap. He's got to stay as close as possible. Now, I talked about Tortelli earlier being one of the guys like LaRocco or even David Villamy. You just heard him talk about how much this is an outdoor track, and Tortelli is the man outdoors. So he really needs to stay with McGrath and bother him a little bit, study, learn as much as he can, and let Jeremy know, hey, I am on your pace. I'll be there in the main event.
Tortelli explaining to us earlier that he was very surprised his first year at Daytona last year. He expected more sand. Heath Voss goes flying right behind number 21, Sebastian Tortelli. And the bike's trying to avoid him in the whoop section as Tortelli, though, holding a steady beam. There's Heath Voss getting back and trying to restart.
Just behind Tortelli. He was actually hanging in there pretty good. Voss looked great in practice this morning, and he's one of the stronger riders that does well outdoors, and this track seems to suit his style. He was looking great until he fell there.
Leading privateer on the Supercross series and picks up a lot of bonus money in the privateer bonus fund.
Look at Jeremy. He just does things right. You know, the guy will make mistakes here and there, but he conceals them so well, no one really notices, and he wheelies over the right bumps, chooses the right lines, gets the start when he needs to get it. He holds off guys when he needs to hold them off. He just doesn't show any weaknesses, and right now, if Tortelli can close the gap a little bit, he'll expose one. That is that McGrath's pace isn't quite fast enough to be able to run away and hide like normal.
Damon Huffman has moved into third as we check out Randy Lawrence. Randy Lawrence along with Steve Butler. Major responsibilities, of course, are to get that #1 bike ready for every race.
He's doing a pretty darn good job so far, I'd say, because whenever he needs to get that start, they seem to work on the bike during the week and figure it out. I mean, they may just go out and practice starts all day if that's what it takes, because Jeremy knows how to ride the bike the rest of the way.
Jeremy clocking laps at 128.
Well, that's quite a bit. Look at that. Wow. Just about hit the hay bale there coming down over that last jump, but that's a huge line. He did that earlier in practice, turned that into a triple-triple. He just showed Tortelli.
Tortelli trying to hang with him, and here's Damon Huffman, our third-place rider. Former two-time 125 Western champion. Won the inaugural U.S. Open at Las Vegas, and Damon Huffman is riding well through those woods.
Yeah, not the best start, but he was able to work his way into third. It's a distant third, but still, he's got a pretty good pace going, and he's just learned the track, try to get a good gate position for the main, and run with these guys.
So as Jeremy McGrath leads our third qualifying heat for the 250s here at Daytona. We'll have more Supercross Daytona Bike Week 2000 when we return.
Awaited sport bike ever made. The Ninja ZX-12R.
The King brothers, separated at birth. George King went to a family that subscribed to fishing magazines. James's family subscribed to the Wall Street Journal. 28 years later, George lives with his parents, while his brother James started a B2B web company and went public with a record first-day pop. Food for thought, especially since you can get 13 weeks of the Wall Street Journal for just 57 cents a day. That's 25% off the regular rate. Call 800-469-1600. That's 800-469-1600 for the Wall Street Journal.
Hey, welcome to the Suzuki Fest 2000 Deli. Care to try a new Suzuki motorcycle with $400 free accessories? I suggest the Katana 750 or 600 and a helmet. The Bandit 1200 and 600 are house favorites and go great with leather jackets. Today's special is the GS 500E with a side of gloves and a helmet. Everything's good, even the financing, like 0 down, low APR, and low payments on selected models.
Come into Suzuki Fest 2000 today. Free accessories, great financing. Offers end April 30th.
All right, so what do you like?
Back to Supercross at Daytona's Bike Week 2000. Jeremy McGrath leading our third qualifier for the 250s as Jeremy McGrath, Tortelli, Huffman, Schnell, and Krein. Looks like they'll cap it off that way, but Jeremy McGrath has had his own way here. Tortelli giving him a little push, but unable to show him a wheel.
Yeah, I thought Tortelli actually, he started close there a little bit, but it's been a lot of mistakes on Tortelli's part that's allowed Jeremy to open that gap. Plus, Jeremy turned a 125, which is just ridiculous on the track right now. I mean, they were doing 126s in the first heat, and it was a fast pace, and the track wasn't as beaten down as it is now. But if you watch Jeremy, he's starting to move his lines a little bit and ride a little bit smoother racetrack. Fitness-wise, though, I got something to keep in mind is a few weeks ago, Jeremy was sick, and he wasn't able to train for a couple of weeks, really, and that's really when he needed to be training to benefit now. You know, a lot of these guys talk about after a good race, they say, I was training really hard all week. Well, I kind of chuckle because that doesn't do anything except really make you tired. It's a couple of weeks ago that's going to benefit now, and he wasn't able to train while everyone else was, and that could affect him later in the main.
He's pulled a 9-second lead on Tortelli. Let's go down to Davey Coombs.
Well, Randy, it looks like so far all the hard work you guys did this week testing down here in Florida is paying off.
Yeah, it is. You got to come to Daytona a little bit early and find a track with some sand, a little bit rough with some jumps in it. Because you got to set the bike up a little different than a normal Supercross, because it gets a little more choppy. You want to soften up the suspension a little bit, change the power around a little bit. And we tested some this week, and he did some motos in the sand and kind of got used to it. And it looks like it's going really good right now.
I was talking with a friend who saw him riding out here with Villeman, some test track those guys found, and said Jeremy was just amazing in the sand, so fast. And it looked like he was having a lot of fun out there, just throwing it into those big sand berms. And he's doing it again out here, just stretching out that lead. Watch it, see if he does this triple again. He's got to get this little part clean. Goes for it. I drove down through there in a golf cart yesterday with my dad, just going, you know, I think they could triple that. And my dad looked at me like, I don't know. I don't know about that. And your dad's
the one that built this track. We're on the final lap right now for Jeremy McGrath.
He's making it look easy. But I'll tell you what, you go down there and look at that and watch these guys go by through some of this rough stuff. You got to take Dramamine just to watch.
Fourth place, what an accomplishment for Greg Schnell. He's won top privateer awards at Pontiac, and well, he's qualified for every 250 main in the Eastern Division because he's a 125 Western rider who also has taken the checkered flag in the Western Division of the 125s. That was in San Diego. Currently, he's third in points in the 125 West, but he's making his mark here in the 250s as a privateer. Back to Jeremy McGrath, our leader here in our third and final qualifying heat before the semifinals at Daytona.
Another example of Jeremy shifting up his line. He's not really charging that hard right now. He's experimenting back a couple of corners ago. He overshot the berm on purpose just to get a little smooth piece of racetrack. You see him, it looks like a mistake, but they're doing it on purpose just to try to find a smooth line. You see these guys are searching for the edges of the racetrack, starting to break those hay bales apart in spots.
Sebastian Tortelli, number 21, coming through the lappers right now, weeding his way through. This will be Jeremy's 9th consecutive start in a 250 Daytona race. His very first 250 was here at Daytona in 1992. He takes the checkered flag. That time, he placed 20th in 1992. I don't think that'll happen this week. But Sebastian Tortelli, number 21, secures second place. Jeremy McGrath putting in a near flawless ride here in the wind and cloudy day at Daytona. We'll be right back as Davey Coombs will go over and get his comments right after this.
Loudon Motorsports is proud to announce that they now feature Suzuki motorcycles and ATVs.
They have great products. They have wonderful on-off-road bikes. They've got great four-wheelers that are perfect for anything and everything you need to do around the farm or just plain.
Expanding the business, Loudon Motorsports now carries all the Suzuki Cruisers, sport bikes, motocross bikes, dirt bikes, and all-terrain vehicles. You've got to visit the showroom with all the flashy 2000 model Suzukis, including the GSXR 750 sport bike. Visit Loudon Motorsports and Power Equipment in Leesburg on Catoctin Circle.
Please call the great folks at Gutterman Services for all your seamless guttering, roofing, and exterior repair needs. 742-0835.
The Rick, this is Sean with ESPN Fantasy Baseball. We only use stats from players in the AL and the NL. We do not accept stats from the RL, the Rick League. Stop faxing us your wiffle ball stats. You're jamming up our machine.
This week, the ultimate hitting contest continues. Watch some of the best sluggers in the league play a little game called long ball. The Big League Challenge continues today at 5:30 on ESPN2.
There's the bright orange monster over the track today. The great views you're seeing of the race are being brought to us this afternoon by Monster.com's newest blimp, Trump. Trump is operated on the East Coast and covers a variety of sporting events. Monster.com is the leading global careers website. Monster.com for work, life, possibilities. Taking a look now at the results of heat number 3. Jeremy McGrath having a fairly easy time of it. Sebastian Tortelli in second. Huffman holding on to third. The 125 rider Greg Schnell in fourth. And Kevin Krein, a nice run, number 58 in fifth. Let's go to Davey.
Well, Jeremy, it looked like you had a few things out there on the track that we haven't seen anyone do all day. First of all, tell me about that straightaway.
You know, I think there's getting chop holes after every double, and that's something I didn't practice towards the end of practice, and you know, the track's getting on the faces of the jumps is getting really rutted. So by me doing it, that timing, it takes away the ruts a little bit, and it's a little bit easier on me.
Also looks pretty cool. Speaking of that, did you get a chance to watch your competition? Did you see Carmichael and Villeman in their heat races?
Yeah, I saw Carmichael and LaRocco going at it, and they were riding really strong. You know, it's going to be a long 20 laps. I know Villeman was riding really good. And, you know, there's about 4 of us probably that Kevin will run up front for a while, but I heard he's been a little sick. So, you know, I think it's going to come down to 17, 18, 19, 20, you know, and that's the laps that are going to count.
All right, thanks, Jared. We'll go back upstairs.
Thank you, Davey. These riders finishing probably the most grueling qualifying sessions they'll see maybe in their careers, David. And really RC, he set the standard in heat number 1.
Well, he went out charging, and he looked like that in practice. The first lap of practice, he attacked the racetrack. I mean, I could tell, I talked with him quite a bit after the first race of the season, and he was a little bit out of shape there, and he knew that he needed to keep training through the races, even if he was a little bit overtrained, so he could be ready for this race. But LaRocco stayed pretty close to him.
In heat number 2, David Villeman showed well.
He did, and you know, I really think Kevin needed to hold on to that victory there, and perhaps Kevin being sick this week was part of the reason for him starting to slow in the end of that race there and not really attack Villeman once he made the pass. But a big win for Villeman, and McGrath took notice of it.
McGrath not only took notice of it, he went out and proved to everybody that, hey, Ricky Carmichael or whomever, you have to have a perfect race if you're going to beat me here in Daytona.
Well, you know, that's the kind of pressure that Jeremy puts on everybody all the time. But Daytona, now that he knows he has the tools to win this race, he really likes to win it. He wanted to win this race so bad last year after getting that little mix-up with Pichon in Dallas the week before. He lapped Pichon here. He really wants to come in this race and dominate, and he did in his heat.
Let's check out the riders who have qualified out of the semifinal rounds now. First of all, the first semifinal was won by Travis Preston, Jason McCormick. Shane King, the former 500 GP motocross champion, came in third. Thomas Horton and Terlicki in that first semifinal heat going to the main event. And Heath Voss, the leading privateer of the series, Dubé, Nice, Taylor, Karsten, and Austin Squires. These are the riders who came out of the last chance qualifier to go to the main event. Those 3 riders filling out the 30-rider gate here at Daytona. Coming up next, defending 125 champion Ernesto Fonseca, who won here last year, tries to make it 2 Daytona wins in a row. But he's got the fantastic Travis Pastrana and others to deal with.
Our 1999 season started in color, but it ended in black and white. The Suzuki GSXR line, 1999 AMA Superbike Champion, AMA 750 Supersport Champion, FIM World 600 Supersport Champion, AMA.
The styling of the Vulcan 1500 Drifter takes you back to another time. The engineering, make sure you don't get stuck there. Vulcan, only from Kawasaki.
My girlfriend made me go to Cancun. I could not watch NHL tonight. When I got back, my knowledge was smaller. I hate Cancun.
Welcome back to Daytona as we get set for our 125 main event here in the 125 East point standings. Let's take a look as Brock Sellards has the 2-point advantage over Stefan Roncada, who's coming off 2 consecutive wins. Still with a striking distance, Wayne Pastrana and defending champ Fonseca, and the winner of the first 125 East race of the year, Michael Brandis. Taking the parade lap right now, checking out the last-minute conditions, David.
I'll tell you what, Art, this just might be the longest parade lap in history. Not only because the track is long, but these guys really want to take a look at every line because the track changes so much. And also, if you see in that berm right there, there's a shadow in there. This time of day, it's really difficult to see your line.
Let's take a look now at the starting grid as you see Roncada, Way, Fonseca, Paul Curry, and Ryan Clark. the top 5 qualifiers getting their choice of gates as we go down the rest of the starting grid. Michael Brandis, Brock Sellers, the points leader. Doug DeHaan had some good qualifying moments. 22 riders, 15 laps, and it's over a mile per lap.
Well, the main thing, more than the distance, really is the time. You know, normally you got just under a minute lap time. Here it's going to be a little bit, probably 1:30 or a little bit more than that. So it's basically like an outdoor moto, and track's a lot rougher than normal.
Travis Pastrana surveying the track as we take a look now. David Bailey.
Well, you can see that wide start there. It gets narrow real quick, and that's just because of the limited space here at Daytona. So it's a real advantage to get out there ahead of everybody and not get caught up and sandwiched there. Then it's a long straightaway into the first corner, and then it gets busy. Starts to get really tough, and we've seen a lot of mistakes out here today as these guys work their way back around to the front straightaway. It's just an entire straightaway full of whoops, and if you don't get those right, you can't do the doubles and triples that are right after them. So a lot of time can be made up or lost there, and back around to the start. These guys are going to be tired after this.
Under blue skies here at Daytona now, all the 125 riders filtering in. The last rider to come to the gate is Michael Brandis, and he still has not got to his position. Now he moves in alongside of Brock Sellers just to the right of the doghouse, and sandwiching that doghouse, the Yamaha of Troy riders.
Just like in their heat race, and it seems like all the hole shots have come from that area right there, just to the inside of that starter box. I think we've seen some pileups in this first corner because it narrows up so quick. The main event, these guys have a little bit more butterflies than they did in the heat race.
Okay, the 30-second board has turned, and we're set to go as Ron Cotta, who's won 2 in a row, is looking for 3 in a row. He has to beat his teammate Fonseca, though, who's the defending champion and the winner here last year. There's Curry, number 38, the privateer. Number 23, Nick Way. Can't count him out of it.
It's always easy to spot Travis Pastrana. He has those hand guards on, whether it's rocky or not, and the 5-second sign is up.
From Daytona International Raceway, the 125 main event is underway. Fonseca breaks out into the open immediately. Everybody's sorting out behind him. Paul Curry in second now, trying to give Fonseca a look at a wheel. Ron Cotta is back in 7th.
He's behind, just a couple of riders behind Pastrana. That's as far back as you have to go for some of the favorites, so they're in contention here. It's a long enough race, they'll be able to work their way up.
Out of the West Horseshoe as we approach the front straightaway. Going through the black sand into the triple. Fonseca successful. Brandis, number 27 now, trying to pull up on Fonseca. 45 is Tyler Evans in 3rd.
Tyler was able to capitalize on a mistake. Whoa, Pastrana just laying on the seat almost goes down. Just at the tail end of this battle up front.
There's 199, Travis Pastrana, who had such an impressive qualifying round.
I think you're going to see a patient Pastrana today. They've been beating that in his head. He knows it. He may even have a note about it on the crossbar. He had a note in Atlanta on the crossbar to keep him focused on the right things.
Round number 1, he learned how valuable patience can really be when you're riding in the top 4. Felt he threw his chances away in round 1, but that was his first 125 Pro Supercross at the time. Fonseca, our leader still. In round 2, Pastrana won his first heat race and was smoother on the track, David Bailey. Learned, though, that he needed to be a little more aggressive at the start. So every race he's learning something.
That just never stops either. I mean, even at the highest level, there's still things to learn. Travis just knocked a tire or a hay bale or something out of the way. Something went flying. They cut it close. These guys go all the way to the edge of the racetrack, try to dodge that ruse, to not follow, and mainly to find a smooth line. You see those top 4 really haven't changed much. I think that's why you'll see A little bit more patience from some guys, not trying to make anything happen too early. It's a long race.
Brandis trying to close in on the inside of the whoops to Fonseca. The battle for third is on. Travis Pastrana moves into third around Tyler Evans. Here comes Pastrana. Knock one more off the list. Knock another off the list. And Travis Pastrana has the crowd standing on their feet, taking over the lead here at Daytona.
Well, that's how you do it. You just stay on the tops of those whoops. You have the timing, you nail the big obstacles, and go from fourth to first. This kid comes in with a lot of hype, and that's why.
Well, there's no doubt about it. He is the most publicized and probably most popular athlete to join the Supercross Tour as a rookie. But he certainly has backed that up with excitement. Roncada went down. No, that's Brock Sellards.
Nope.
It's Brandis.
It's the last year's Brock Sellards.
Yeah, 27 is Brandis, the winner of the first 125 East. Here's Roncada, number 26. He's getting going again. Out front is Pastrana getting a challenge from Fonseca. So Stefan Roncada, his chances for a third consecutive victory taking a shock right now. Anything can happen in this 125 round as Travis Pastrana and Fonseca are 1-2 with Tyler Evans in third.
To unlock your body's potential, there is nothing better than Soloflex. All the standard strength training exercises, each one correct in form and balance. The original, still unequaled, Soloflex.
All weekend long, all kinds of racing. The race is on ESPN2. If it goes fast and looks cool, the race is on ESPN2.
AMA Supercross is brought to you by Yamaha, makers of the new line of Bear ATVs. Yamaha, because out here, bears rule. Welcome back to Supercross, Daytona Bike Week 2000. The 125 main event. Our leader is Travis Pastrana, who went from fourth to first early in the race and continues to control things. Not a happy time for many riders, including number 27, Michael Brandis.
That's too bad. It looked like there may have been a hay bale that a rider hit before he got there and knocked it a little bit into his way.
Roncada also went down on the track, as we noted earlier, and he's battling back from 14th. But our leader, number 199, Travis Pastrana. Here's the battle for second place. Brock Sellards, FMF Honda, number 18, and number 1, Ernesto Fonseca. Ernesto has not won a race this year. He's put 2 good races back-to-back, a third in Pontiac, and then he won his heat, got the whole shot in Atlanta, led a few laps, and ended up in 4th place. Nick Way has now moved into 5th, but look at Brock Sellards. Brock Sellards puts the accelerator down.
Through that mogul section, everyone's been favoring the left, and it's gotten a rut through there. It's actually gotten more difficult to go through in the main line than it is to move over a little bit. And that's what Sellards did, and it worked perfect.
Fonseca trying to break a little later on that corkscrew turn before the whoop section. But Brock Sellards now moves into 2nd place, and Pastrana pulls away. Joining us in the booth right now is former champion, 250 champion back in 1980, Mike Bell. And Mike, Yamahas have really performed well, not only here in the 125s, but they've got a string going of 8 or 9 straight victories, if you count Las Vegas of last year, in Supercross with Jeremy McGrath and David Villeman. And you were a part of that great string of victories, the most victories anytime for a Yamaha, and that was 12 back in 1980.
Yeah, well, I've always been partial to Yamahas. I've spent my whole career riding Yamahas, still ride them, and I think the bikes are great. I've got a new one, and I can't say enough about how well it works. Makes even an old rider seem like he knows what he's doing out there.
Well, I know you want to plug Yamaha, but let's get down to the facts. Blow your own horn a little bit. You won 7 of those 12 races.
Yeah, we really had a few really amazing seasons there. The bikes were great, and we just kind of took turns winning mains.
Do you have a favorite Daytona memory, even if you didn't win one here?
Actually, I have a lot of favorite memories, but unfortunately they don't involve myself. I remember watching guys like David and Ricky and Jeff Stanton and guys like that just totally dominate. And
before we get to that favorite memory, right now that 199 is on the screen, I'd like your impression of Travis Pastrana, who goes down. Just timed it wrong. He's got a big enough lead if the bike is not damaged to get up and get going once again. Here comes Brock Sellers. Sellers inching in front of Pastrana, but Pastrana's got a good chance if there's no damage to the bike. Let's take another look at that, David Bailey.
Gets a little bit crooked in there. Just sticks it in. That's a classic endo. That's about the worst way you can dive the front wheel into a bump. And the way the bike went in there, I'd be surprised if the front end's not tweaked a little bit. That'll affect him when he tries to challenge for the lead again. But now we got ourselves a race. Just when I sensed the crowd starting to yawn, heck, I was starting to yawn. It's a good one now because Travis will not give up.
Can we have a new, different winner? Brock Sellers has not won. Travis Pastrana has not won a 125 race this year. Way started in 10th, and he's up to 4th now. As you see our leaderboard, Sellers, Pastrana, Fonseca, Way, and Tyler Evans still in the top 5. I love that story of your favorite memory, though, or one of your favorite memories, Mike Bell. It involved David Bailey. Even David Bailey had time to see it.
Well, I'm not sure of the year, but I remember it vividly that David had pretty much dominated the whole event, and Johnny O'Mara was, I think, real frustrated and just pinned it on the last lap. And I don't think that any of us can ever recall anyone ever jumping as high or as far over any jump. And I don't think Johnny even realized what he was doing, but it was a pretty incredible sight to see David down there and Johnny seemed like he was 30 feet in the air.
At least, because I had just finished the race and had a pretty good lead and turned around, pulled off the track, luckily, and Johnny was trying to outrace Johnson to the line, and he just flew through the air. And the funny thing about it is he said he should have done it every lap because it wasn't that bad.
Mike Bell, thanks for joining us for a few seconds up here in the booth. It's good to see you.
All right, thanks a lot.
One of the great legends and champions of 250 action. And
as you can see Pastrana in all these shots, he's right there, and he's not going to let Sellers rest.
Brock Sellers would love to get some cushion in that championship chase. We'll find out if number 18 can hold off Travis Pastrana when we return to Daytona.
All the hours you've spent boring out cylinders, building strokers, and setting up suspension, you'd have graduated from MMI by now, and you'd be getting paid for doing what you love. Call 1-800-994-3664 to find out how you can become one of the best technicians in the world. Motorcycle Mechanics Institute.
Sport bike ever made. The Ninja ZX-12R.
Welcome back to Daytona. Bike Week 2000, 125 main event. Brock Sellers, number 18, after Travis Pastrana went down on the track, took over the lead, but Travis is now starting to make his move. He has studied Brock Sellers around this track for several laps, David Bailey, and now it appears he's ready to put the heat on.
And you can hear the crowd, and this all the way down the straight right here through the whoop. This is where he went from 4th to 1st. And they can sense he's a little bit quicker than Sellers through there, but it seems that Sellers has picked it up a little bit, although a little mistake there.
Here's the triple. Travis Pastrana could not take advantage during that whoop section because of the left rider, but once he got around it, he took to the sky.
What an incredible turnaround, and the resolve he's showing right now to get the lead. He didn't get the whole shot. He had to earn it, then crashing the way he did. That was a bad crash. That would take some guys out, and here he is in the lead again.
Notice that Travis Pastrana has that palm cast off the throttle hand now. He broke his thumb before the season opened up. It was right before the Phoenix round, the 250 round, and he wanted to try a 250. But couldn't get on the track until he got that palm cast fitted, and it became comfortable for him to ride and open up the 125 East in Indianapolis. Let's go down to Davey Coombs.
Lee, your rider had the lead earlier, went down hard. Travis got back up, got the lead again, but I saw on the board this time you told him to be smart.
Yeah, he's riding really good. He's just having fun out there. When he crashed, he landed right over there, and his front wheel went in a hole and just threw him over the bars. But you know, he regrouped, and he looks like he's going again, so he just needs to stay smooth and smart, and this race will be his.
Never a dull moment with this guy, is there?
No, he keeps me jumping.
Thanks, Davey. I'm sure it's a fascinating experience for Lee McCullough, who is the mechanic of Travis Pastrana, as we go for the battle for third. Nick Way putting the heat now on Fonseca, the defending champion.
You see how much room there is in that corner. Way went to the outside, tried to put something together to get a run at Fonseca, and it just didn't really work out very well. But each time he's lost a little time, he's been able to close that gap. So it's always a good sign. You know that you got a little bit more speed than the guy in front of you. It's just a matter of working out the line so you can make a pass. I'll tell you what, you know, Lee McCullum, the guy, every time he does anything to Travis's bike, Travis is like, yeah, thanks, I appreciate that. I mean, it's just the most polite kid, almost at the point where you're like, hey, you know, just be mean or something. Come on. How can you go this fast and be that polite?
With skill like that, he doesn't have to be mean.
Yeah, he's really amazing to watch.
Fonseca approaching a lapper as Nick Way tries to take it up a notch.
See the back end fishtailing around on Fonseca there. It doesn't bother these guys. They just sort it out and recorrect with their body. As long as they get over the peak of those jumps, kick down that backside, everything turns out smooth. You got to expect to get a little squirrely out here during the day because there's so many different lines out there changing. And right now it's about as rough as it's going to get. It'll get a little worse during the 250 main later, but it's really a challenge for everyone right now.
Nick Way, a 6th here at Daytona last year, trying to catch up with the champion of last year. Pastrana, Sanders, Fonseca, back and forth we go. Nick Way moves past Ernesto Fonseca.
He's been setting that up all the way down that straightaway. When they get into that berm, the berm kind of breaks away. He was able to get out of it early and cut across the inside, shorten up the racetrack. I don't think Fonseca was ready for that.
Well, Nick Way, since the end of last year, in fact, the 125E season where he got those 3 podiums in 4 races at the end of the year, taking a 3rd in the shootout of Las Vegas, gave him a lot of confidence for this season.
And as soon as you have confidence, which is so hard to build, you're able to ride more relaxed. You just find another zone. And he seems to be in it. I know if he was able to get up there and dice it for the lead or win one, it would change him and put him up even to another notch. And he's poised and ready for that.
Davey Coombs, what's the frustration level down trackside?
Well, I'm about to find out from Ernesto Fonseca's mechanic. Dave, what do you got to do to get Ernesto to pick it up a gear, get that 99 speed going?
Really, I don't know. I'm just working part-time for Ernesto since his mechanic got hurt. And I think everyone else has picked it up a lot. So just hoping that he can focus and maybe we can win a couple races before the end of the year.
In 4th place here in this contest right now at Daytona, Ernesto Fonseca fighting it hard. We'll be right back as Travis Pastrana continues to dominate the 125 main from Daytona.
Give your home a warm, elegant look with an Oriental rug from M-Page Oriental Rugs. M-Page carries a variety of quality rugs from traditional Persian to natural dye and hand-spun wool. M-Page directly imports from around the world, finding top quality rugs at the best prices for you, the customer.
Honesty, integrity, and fair pricing. That's what we at M-Page Oriental Rugs stand for and believe in.
Visit M-Page Oriental Rugs in the Virginia Village Shopping Center, Leesburg.
Many businesses have humble beginnings, and we were no different at the Auto Spot, beginning our business in a trailer on the back lot of a Ford dealership with the concept that just because you didn't have perfect credit didn't mean you couldn't have a quality used vehicle. Thanks to you, we were able to move to our new location here at 325 East Market Street in Leesburg. But we kept a reminder of where we came from on our sign right out front, where you can still find the Auto Spot name. Stop by and visit us at Jerry's Leesburg Suzuki, 325 East Market Street, Leesburg.
Tonight on ESPN at 6 Sports Center, at 7 and 9 an NIT doubleheader, at 11 Sports Center, and at midnight Baseball Tonight. On ESPN2 at 7 the Blues Hurricanes, at 10:30 ESPN Today, and at 11:30 a complete hockey wrap-up on NHL Tonight. And on ESPN Classics starting at 8 Classics World Series films, and at 9 College Football Classics featuring one of the great all-time rivalries. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
AMA Supercross is brought to you by Kawasaki Motorcycles. Let the good times roll. It's Supercross from Daytona Bike Week 2000 as we take a look at number 199. He's kind of coasting around the track right now after posting a 15-second lead over second place and a 42-second advantage, David Bailey, over third.
That's just ridiculous. I mean, if you think about the lap times at a regular Supercross, they're not much more than the lead he has over Nick Way in third right now. So Travis has got it going on here on this racetrack. He's very comfortable. I'm sure he's having fun. That seems to be his #1 goal. And it's a good strategy because if you're having fun, you're relaxed, you're focused better, you're enjoying what you're doing, and you can see it in his style.
Pastrana had not led a lap this year until this race. And here's our second place rider, Brock Sellards. This would be his 4th consecutive second place.
Well, you know, that's probably going to be fine for him in the points, but I know he's not going to be happy with that. And I know he'd like to beat Pastrana. I mean, the first race of the East Series in Indianapolis, these guys got together a little bit. And, you know, there's always going to be a rivalry. And I think if there is one in this class, it's going to turn out to be these two.
Brock Sellards winning at Pontiac last year for his very first 125 Supercross win. Looking for his first victory this season. He had a pretty good race here back in '98 when he hit the podium in third in the 125 action. He was 5th last year after winning a heat. Brock Sellards going to go back to the drawing board, though. He's a tough competitor, hates to lose, and also he's physically tough, David.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, he does have the strength to do well here, and it surprises me a little bit that he wasn't able to hang with Pastrana, but it's obvious Pastrana is just his day. I mean, everything he's done has worked out except for that endo, but that even kind of just made the race more exciting. So it looks like his favor.
Yeah, it looks like right now that Travis Pastrana, as he takes the white flag for the final lap of action, we still have only one two-time winner in 125 races this year.
Well, that streak that Ron Cotto was starting to put together is going to come to an end here, and this could be the beginning of a streak for Pastrana. This may give him that extra bit of confidence. He's learned something, as we talked about earlier, at each race that he's ridden. He might have enough knowledge now and confidence after this win to keep winning. He rolls this triple. I think a lot of people on the last lap were expecting him to be up in the air doing something cool, and he rolled it.
Now, I think right now he's pleasing Roger DeCoster.
Yeah, he is taking his time. Yeah, he's probably pretty nervous right now. And Sellards isn't that far back. He's really slowed the pace right now and just savoring this final lap. His first win comes pretty quick.
Here's Nick Way in third. Be his second podium in a row. And what a feather in his cap getting that here at Daytona.
That would be a good feeling. Geez, he's got a long ways to go. Travis is going to be showered by the time he gets to the finish line. The lead is incredible.
Here's our leader, Travis Pastrana, having some fun. Now he's 2 turns away from the checkered flag.
And can I just tell you that there's about 1 million photographers over there at the finish line jump waiting for something.
Travis Pastrana, you think he was having fun before he won his first Supercross Series race? Check out a smile right now as he takes the checkers for his very first Supercross professional win on the series. Brock Sellards, second place for the 4th consecutive round. Brock Sellards will hold on to that points chase right now, but Travis Pastrana gets that first win in the series. There's Gary Bailey, the track designer, and David's father.
Well, I can kind of relate to all this. I mean, he's his prime student right now. And of course, I was all those years, and my first win here was pretty special in '84. My dad watched me grow up and help him build this track, and when I finally got it, it was pretty sweet. And he's reliving that a little bit now, I bet.
You just had the feeling that his first win was going to come any moment after all the learning of lessons through the first 3 rounds. Roger DeCoster, his team manager of Team Suzuki, coming over with the congratulations. You see the black sand that just plastered him throughout the race in the early moments. But right now, Travis Pastrana becomes another different face on the top step of the podium in 125 action in the year 2000. We will return and hear from the young kid right after this.
We've taken the soul of the 1985 GSXR, the motorcycle that created the race replica category, and placed it into the newest GSXR. Introducing the 2000 GSXR 750 from Suzuki, the soul of a champion, reborn.
Is your financial past a dark one? Maybe problem credit history is weighing down on you still today. Or maybe you're a good person who's just made a few mistakes. Pick up the phone right now and call First Premier Bank. If you don't apply, you can't receive an unsecured visa. First Premier Bank can approve you for your own credit card and get your financial life back on track. Call 1-800-254-7711 now and let us put some light at the end of the tunnel.
Major League Soccer is back. New York, New Jersey Metro Stars, Miami Fusion. Sunday at 5 on ESPN2.
16 remain. 1 will prevail. The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship Sweet 16 coverage begins Saturday on ESPN2 and ESPN.
So here this afternoon, the great crowd here at Daytona International Speedway witnessing the very first victory of Travis Pastrana. And here are the official results of that 125 East 4th race of the Eastern season. Let's go down to Davey now.
All right, Travis, I know that this has got to be a dream come true. Your whole life you waited to win a Supercross, and 3 times it looked like you might have a chance, but today you came here and there was just no doubt.
Well, thanks a lot. I had a great qualifier and the fans were just so supportive. I was amazed at how much they backed me. Every time I did anything, I could hear the crowd behind me, and the feeling is just unbelievable. I mean, I can't explain it.
It looked like in the beginning of the race you didn't get a whole shot. You looked a little more patient. We've seen in some of the other races. Then you got in the lead. Then what happened?
Well, after I got in the lead, I started pulling away, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm actually pulling away in a professional Supercross race. And I just got a little excited, and I just tried to open it up a little bit more so I wouldn't have to work so hard. And I went over the bars, and I got up, and I was thinking, oh, man, I just lost this race. And I looked around, I'm getting up as fast as I can. I said, wow, I'm still winning.
What about the last part of the race? I know Daytona's the longest race of the year, but it had to seem like an eternity between, you know, you're riding out there waiting for that first checkered flag. What did that feel like?
Well, it felt unbelievably long, to tell you the truth, but I was so pumped that I was actually winning the Supercross that, you know, nothing really bothered me. And my mechanic Lee kept putting 2 more laps, 2 more laps, 2 more laps. And I kept thinking, well, it's got to be 2 more laps one of these times. So he was just trying to keep me into it.
Right on. Congratulations, Travis.
Thanks a lot, Davey. I can't say enough. The crowd, my bike, it's unbelievable.
His excitement is infectious here at Daytona as Travis Pastrana in 3rd place moves really into contention now for the 125 Eastern Championship. Brock Sellards Another second place, leads it with 88 points, so 8 points over Stefan Roncada, who finished in 5th today. Pastrana's win in 3rd, giving him 77 points. Way with 72, and Fonseca's 4th keeps him in the top 5. Let's go back down to Davey Coombs.
Well, Brock, you didn't get your first win of the year here, but you got your 4th straight second place, and you got a lock on the point lead.
Yeah, I did. You know, I pulled away a little bit in the points lead, except for Travis. He caught me a little, but you know, I'm riding, you know, pretty good out there. I can still step up the pace. I'm not riding to my ability, but I can't. I mean, Travis really rode good, especially after crashing, being that strong coming back up. But, you know, the track was good. It was a little technical, and my Honda FMF worked great out there.
All right. Listen, congratulations. We'll let you get to the champagne here. Good job, Brock.
Thanks a lot.
Time now has come for the most prestigious races in motorcycle competition. Will Jeremy McGrath continue the domination, or will someone step up? The 250s are next.
The most anxiously awaited sport bike ever made. The Ninja ZX-12R.
If you have thinning hair, you can get this hair loss research update free by calling 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now. I could control the way my body looks, but not my hair. I was very confused about what to do when I started losing my hair. I didn't know where to start. I was looking for some real answers, and I got them from Hair Club's latest hair loss research update. It gave me the facts that I needed to make the right decision about my thinning hair. Now that I have my hair back, I'm glad I made that call. You can get this hair loss research update free by calling 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now.
The Pepsi 400 at Daytona International Speedway is NASCAR's 4th of July racing spectacular. Make your plans now to be at the world center of racing. Winston Cup champion Dale Jarrett will defend his Pepsi 400 title, but he'll have to beat Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, and the rest of NASCAR's best. For tickets, call 904-253-RACE or visit our website, The Pepsi 400, Saturday night, July 1st.
They defy all human instinct, for they are the ones who volunteer to place themselves in front of the target. The NHL on ESPN. This is the game.
Kings Flyers at 7, Avalanche Coyotes at 10, tomorrow on ESPN2.
Our aerial shots are being brought to you this afternoon by the Monster.com blimp. Monster.com operates 2 blimps in the United States. This blimp is named Trump, which is the name of the green monster in front of the blimp. Monster.com for work, life, possibilities. Supercross at Daytona Bike Week 2000. Hello again, everybody. Art Ekman along with David Bailey and Davey Coombs bringing you the 250 action main event. As there you see him, Jeremy McGrath, the 6-time former champion and defending champ, taking his parade lap, looking, surveying, seeing if changes have been made. Here's Kevin Windham of Team Honda. In fact, it's time for this week's Honda close-up. After 2 wins and 4 midseason podiums last year, Team Honda's Kevin Windham was expected to contend for the 250 Supercross Championship. However, the 2000 campaign has been a disappointment to the Louisiana native.
Well, it's been pretty difficult to say the least. It's not been to my liking than anybody else here at Team Honda, and you know, we've been working hard, and it seems like, you know, I've been kind of in, I guess the best way I can explain it is a hitting slump, and I'm trying my butt off to get out of it, and it seems like whenever I have a good race going, I either crash with somebody or just have a little flash of bad luck, and you know, the races then there's races that I don't ride well at all. So definitely need to get my consistency back, get some speed back, and you know, get up there on the podium.
Windham's teammate Sebastian Tortelli started the Supercross season saying it's a learning year. He has shown consistent improvement, posting a 2nd place in Pontiac and a 5th in Atlanta. The good results shouldn't be a surprise, considering the Frenchman's dominance in last year's motocross season, where he was leading the point standings after 6 events. But a crash at Unadilla resulted in a broken wrist that forced him to miss the rest of the campaign. Here at Daytona, the Red Riders hope to keep improving on their 2000 results and put Honda back on top of the podium. As we come back, we see Kevin Windham, number 14, finishing his parade or survey lap. And David Bailey, can anyone beat this guy who's out front by 190 to 165 margin. That's a 25-point margin in the point standings. LaRocco, Carmichael, and Wyndham rounding out the top 5. But here at Daytona, who stands a chance?
Well, it's possible to beat the guy, but I wouldn't bet against him. I have a feeling that Villeman has the tools, Carmichael has the tools and the motivation here in Daytona, and Tortelli, you never know. And the guy that's the dark horse that a lot of people are looking at is LaRocco. He's the guy that's going to be tough at the end of the race. You heard Jeremy himself say 17, 18, 19, 20 laps. That's the important part of the race. That's where LaRocco comes on strong.
There you see a 125 rider, Greg Sheen, qualifying for the Greg Schnell qualifying for the 250 main event. Pedro Gonzalez is also in the action along with Heath Voss. And the veteran Barry Karsten, 33 years of age, who only runs Eastern events these days, but tries to qualify for both 125 and 250 action. Grayson Goodman also making the field here at Daytona. Jeremy McGrath getting ready. Randy Lawrence working the throttle for Jeremy. 6 wins in 8 rounds. He's won 3 of the last 4 here in Daytona. The king of Daytona, Jeff Stanton, won 4 consecutive races in 89 to 92. Mike Kudrowski, 3 consecutive wins. But Jeremy McGrath now has a chance to tie Jeff Stanton with the number of wins here at Daytona, which was an awesome feat.
I'll tell you what, this is the race you want to win. There's so much pressure. I don't know what it is. There's so much pressure. Everyone down there's got butterflies. It's just the guy that can get those things to fly in formation that's going to come out on top here.
There are a lot of great champions that tried and never won at Daytona. As the 30-second board has been slipped sideways, and we are underway with the 250 main event. Ricky Carmichael breaking out with McGrath on the inside. McGrath rubbing fenders with Mike LaRocco. Moves into second. Here's Villeman. Villeman challenging now McGrath for second place. Ricky Carmichael takes the inside, and they jam up.
LaRocco tried to put a pass on McGrath, and he got stuck in that deep hole there.
There's Huffman, number 20.
What a tough break. They're trying to get Mike to be more aggressive in that opening lap. He went in there to try to give McGrath a little nudge, and it really cost him. McGrath's still in second. LaRocco's in last.
Mike LaRocco tries to make his way back up now as Ricky Carmichael continues to lead. Let's take another check at that start and the crash.
Well, they come right in the corner. It already happened at that point. But LaRocco just came to the inside of McGrath. Huffman got stuck up in his back wheel, and that just cost these guys valuable time. Luckily, they didn't bend the bikes up there, so they should be able to ride at full speed from here on out.
The first lap about halfway underway now as Ricky Carmichael comes out of the shade into the sunshine, going toward the horseshoe down on the east side. He's got Jeremy McGrath in second place. David Villeman, both Yamaha winners on the season, in second and third behind him. And then Sebastian Tortelli, number 21.
All right, except for LaRocco, all of the guys that I felt like had a chance to beat McGrath are right there with him. Tortelli's there. Wyndham's got a chance. Villeman's there, and Carmichael's starting to inch away a little bit. He did that in practice. He was messing with Jeremy's head a little bit, or trying to. Who knows if Jeremy just let him do that to make him think he was riding well. It's hard to tell. But he was able to pull away from Jeremy in practice. You don't see that very often, and he's doing it right now in the main event.
Ricky Carmichael and those 2 Yamahas behind him. David Villeman not letting Jeremy McGrath break away as well. Almost a 3-second lead for Ricky Carmichael on Jeremy McGrath. McGrath goes for the triple. Carmichael only went for the double. He made it look so smooth.
That is huge. Jeremy just saves stuff like that for the time when it counts. He's able to start jumping a triple that I don't think anyone else is going to be able to respond to.
Villeman picking up space in the whoops, however, on Jeremy. Villeman in third.
I'm anxious to see if Villeman starts jumping that triple now, because he's got the line. He saw exactly how Jeremy did it. If he can continue to do that, they'll close the gap together on Carmichael, and this will be a heck of a battle.
Jeremy McGrath on a 4-race win streak where he has led every lap coming into this race. 80 laps in the last 4 races. That's incredible in itself. 3 hole shots out of those 4 races.
Tell you what else is incredible, the way these guys let that bike just dance around underneath them. And McGrath floating through that mogul section. He only touched about 3 times through there. And if you go over there and look at that from ground level, it's scary looking, but the way he goes through there makes it look easy and fun.
So Carmichael continues to hold about a 3-second lead on Jeremy McGrath. Let's go to Davey Coombs, who's with a mechanic down there, Chad Watts.
Hey, Chad, this is it. This is the start you guys been waiting for, and you're on Ricky's home turf in Florida.
Yeah, it's a good start, but there's 18 more laps, so that start's just the beginning of it.
I know that when you get out there and race with Jeremy, you got to be thinking this guy's won 1 million championships, but how does Ricky put that out of his mind? How does he just go out and ride 20 laps of his own?
He's got to focus on the track. I mean, it's going to get really rough, and he just needs to race the track and not worry about Jeremy. If Jeremy's going to pass him, he's going to pass him.
Very realistic comments from Chad Watts, as McGrath once again did the triple and Carmichael only the double. And Jeremy has cut that 3-second lead down to less than a second.
The thing about that triple is it's not the triple. It wasn't really intended to be one. Jeremy's turned it into one. Carmichael did it in practice once. You saw Jeremy do it. Actually, Carmichael was sizing it up first. Jeremy went and did it. Carmichael did it right after him, and he hasn't done it since. He really needs to if he plans on winning this race, because Jeremy's going to keep doing it, and it's going to make the difference.
Number 4, Ricky Carmichael, getting back on the podium at Atlanta after a miserable 10th place finish the week before, where he went down in the first turn. Battled back for that 10th place position, that's for sure. But now he's got a definite advantage. He looked so sharp in practice. Ricky Carmichael continues to lead the 250 main event here at Daytona. Can he hold off the champion Jeremy McGrath? We'll find out when we come back.
The rumble of a big V twin makes your blood race. You grew up on the pegs of a dirt bike. You could smell a carb running rich from a mile away. Call 1-800-994-3664 to find out how you can become one of the best technicians in the world. Motorcycle Mechanics Institute.
Remember back when it didn't cost a lot to be the coolest kid on 2 wheels? Well, those days are back. For a limited time, get a Yamaha V-Star from just $89 a month. It's the Yamaha Turn Back Time sales event. So see your Yamaha dealer today, because you won't find a deal this attractive anywhere else.
I've been racing since I was 3. I'm a pilot. I like to fly a little bit.
No matter what, we want a Honda up front.
I just feel like I'm on the right team and on the right place. Je m'appelle Sébastien Tortelli. Je cours pour le team Honda.
I guess you could say I was just a little bit hairier than the other kids. They said I was hairy like a bear, and then I was Yogi Bear, and now it's just Yogi.
Try not to think about who's behind you. You know, you try to always race in front of you.
You feel like you can be free.
Back at Daytona International Raceway, Supercross action, 250 main event. Number 4, Ricky Carmichael still has been able to hold off Jeremy McGrath. 1987 is the focus of this Honda flashback. That year can be summed up in one word: mud. The rain stopped in time for the racing to begin. In the 250 main event, it didn't take long for the favorites to have trouble. Rick Johnson and Ron Lachine wouldn't get through the first turn without crashing, with Johnson losing his visor and goggles. Taking the lead was privateer Rick Ryan on a Honda. Ryan from Felton, California, was riding with a hurt leg, but he was left to ride out front and stayed clean. With all the mud flying, spectators and cameramen would have to wait and see the riders' backs before identifying them. Even 3-time Supercross champion Bob Hanna. Keith Bowen on his Yamaha had problems with the mud, riding on a smoking bike. After 20 laps in the mud, number 12, Rick Ryan, did the unthinkable, becoming the only privateer to win the Daytona Supercross. We rejoin the action, and Ricky Carmichael, number 4, continues to lead our 250 main event. A lot of people ride bikes, and a lot of people like to race bikes. But this guy next to us right now, David Bailey, he's got a great career. and he's also a great rider. I'm talking about Rob Van Winkle, better known as Vanilla Ice. Your impression so far of this race?
Oh, this is an awesome race today, Art. It's great. I mean, beautiful Daytona Beach. I mean, just, you know, you can't have a better race day than this.
I understand. Well, I saw on Motor World. Your riding skills are tremendous. You like it, don't you?
Yeah, a lot of people. Oh, I love motocross. It's the best sport on earth until you wreck. But you know, I grew up racing with Danny Storbeck and, you know, Jeff Emig, as well as Grayson Goodman and Upshaw and all those guys back in Texas at Lake Whitney and stuff. And I've been around for a while in the sport, and I just can't get enough of it. It still flows through my veins, and it's the best sport.
Got any hot stories on Bailey?
Oh, he's my hero. Are you kidding me?
Oh, come on.
Oh, David is the man. I grew up, man, him and Ricky Johnson battling back in the days. It was nothing like that. It was the best excitement ever.
It's good to have you with us. I know you're a great fan as well as an outstanding rider. Ricky Carmichael continues to lead as #1. Jeremy McGrath tries to pull up every lap, but let me tell you, Ricky Carmichael's doing a great job. He's got the race of his life underway.
Looked like that last lap, Jeremy may have lost just a little bit of time. I mean, the thing is, too, when you look at the time and the gap between these two, tenths of a second are substantial. Normally, we're talking in seconds, bike lengths. Here, it's inches. And that time Carmichael was able to open it up a little bit, and they've both really pulled away now from Villeman. Villeman was close to Jeremy, started making mistakes, and he just wasn't able to make any of that time back up.
Laraco went down in turn 1 on the first lap. Dead last, is now all the way back to 8th. Let's go down to Davey Coombs.
Hey, Randy, I know there's a lot of time left in the race, but you're starting to think, hey, Carmichael looks pretty strong.
Yeah, he's looking really good right now. It'd be nice to be a little bit closer right now. Just kind of watching for the halfway flag to come out. Jeremy's riding a good race. He's running the same pace. He hasn't fluctuated any in his lap times. So I know he's riding comfortable. Now we'll just see what happens.
Well, now what's happened is these guys are catching up to lapped riders just ahead of Jeremy. You see Carmichael having to work his way through a pack of a couple guys. He's got another one coming up. Jeremy can see all that, and the advantage for Jeremy now is these lap riders know the leaders are coming, so they're going to start looking for everyone else. That'll help Jeremy a little bit, possibly close the gap.
Jeremy to the inside, has to slow down, getting in that deep rut. Look how deep that rut has gotten. Now as Ricky Carmichael still has about a 3 or 2.5 second lead.
And that time it closed back up slightly, and I think that has to do something, probably a little bit to do with those lapped riders they encountered, and that's going to happen from here on out. And the shadows that started this race, they're going to get a little bit, they're going to change slightly and cover different berms and ruts. Look at the way Carmichael following. You just saw on the first lap, he found the most perfect line. Everyone followed suit, just weaved his way through all those holes, and he's got a smooth racetrack down one of the roughest straightaways.
Almost the halfway point here in this traditional great race at Daytona. Carmichael's best this year was a second in Houston. In fact, that's the highest finish of his career in 250s. He was second for the entire 20 laps.
You know what? Even if he gets past here and gets second, he's still got to look at it as improvement. He's getting that much closer, and it won't be long.
David Villeman holding on to third, as the lappers, very much aware, as you mentioned, David, are looking back at even the third place rider to let him through.
Well, you know, we were talking about Mike Bell winning 7 of those 12 races that Yamaha strung together. He lapped me in about probably 5 of those. And it's the weirdest feeling when you're a lapper. You know that they're coming, and sometimes you try to get out of their way, and you actually make it worse. You know?
Jeremy McGrath has told us about number 934 and his great attitude toward racing and life. Let's go down right now to Davey Coombs, who's David Villeman's mechanic.
Hey, Craig, what do you think so far? Halfway down, David's first visit to Daytona, 3rd place.
Yeah, 3rd is actually pretty good, you know. It's a lot different track than we've been riding, so, you know, it's what I expect, or better than what I expected.
He had contact with Jeremy there for a while, but it looked like he made a mistake or something. Did you see what happened?
Yeah, with this track, lines can change quite a bit, so, you know, when he's maybe staying close to Jeremy, he saw the lines, and then, you know, lines always change, so.
He may have messed up on one?
Yeah, he might have messed up on a couple.
Well, he did, because I had my eye on him, and he did. He made a couple of mistakes down at the west end, and that timing whooped out double section. Not even sure what to call it, but he messed up his timing and just lost about 2 seconds right there and couldn't make it back up.
Ricky Carmichael continues to hold a 3-second lead as he weeds through the lappers here at Daytona. We'll be back with more Daytona Bike Week 2000 action in a moment.
Don't file your 1999 taxes. Why? Because your W-2 is the key to your next car. Bring your W-2 to Jerry's Leesburg Suzuki, and in just 30 minutes, TaxMax will prepare your taxes and secure a refund advance that you can use towards a down payment on your next new or used vehicle. That's right. It's fast. It's easy. You can put yourself in a new or used car from Jerry's Leesburg Suzuki. So look for the TaxMax banner at Jerry's Leesburg Suzuki and drive home today.
Windshield pricing, only at Templeton Dodge Olds in Tysons.
Templeton has the used car or truck you've been looking for, and just $19 down delivers.
That's right, pick the used car or truck you want, all makes, all models, and get the price and payments right from the windshield.
Windshield pricing, just $19 down. See the price, see the payment. No haggle, one price buying. No one else has it.
Windshield pricing, see the price, see the payment, just $19 down, only at Templeton in Tysons.
Extensive research has revealed that men love classic sports. They also love explosions. So ESPN Classic is combining them both. First, you'll see the greatest games ever played at the legendary Seattle Kingdom. Then we're blowing the place up live. The Seattle Kingdom Countdown starting Saturday at 8 and concluding on March 26th at 11 with live coverage of the Kingdom's demolition. It's only on ESPN Classic. To get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
Carmichael McGrath still 1-2. And Kevin Windham holding down 5th place.
You see how he was just cruising around that corner. It looked like he wasn't really trying very hard. Well, that was because he was just trying to find that very inside line. Before the main event, they pulled some of the hay bales back just to give these guys a couple extra feet of racetrack. So he was just tinkering around the inside there. It's actually a faster line. Doesn't look it, but it works better.
A 5th place was equal his second best finish of the year. A 5th place in Pontiac. He started the year out, though, with a 3rd place and then got 2 third-place finishes in the first 3 races. Here comes Mike LaRocco. Is this amazing or what? LaRocco, who was dead last in the first lap, all of a sudden has come back to challenge Kevin Windham.
And I don't think that surprises Mike much. I mean, this is business as usual, but for Kevin, how does that make you feel? Jeez, I know he was sick this week and he's not riding 100%, but still, you got to look at. He doesn't realize that LaRocco went down. He just figures he got a fairly bad start as usual. Wait till he finds out LaRocco was last.
And with Mike LaRocco's mechanic, Paul Delorier, let's go down to Davey.
Well, Paul, the main event started pretty bad, but you got to admit, Mike is riding his butt off. He's back up to 5th place, closing in on Sebastian Tortelli in 4th.
He's riding really good, but we got jacked again. We made it around the first 2 turns in like 2nd place, and then Huffman ran into us, so we're stuck at dead last.
What's it going to feel like when you guys finally win one of these things?
Relief, maybe? I don't know. It better be good, and soon.
Well, there was a lot of relief in regaining prominence on the Nationals last year, winning for the first time in quite a spell. He has not won a Supercross since Pontiac in 1995, but he certainly has been consistent as we shift back to our leader, Ricky Carmichael. And let's check out Ricky's times and see how they compare with things. Ricky, who's held a good advantage on Jeremy McGrath the entire way. McGrath has just not been able to give up any pressure to Ricky Carmichael.
He's actually pulled it out to, looks like a little bit more than 10 seconds now, Art. This is just unbelievable. Ricky has been solid. He's been fast enough. He's worked his way through the lappers. He got the whole shot when he needed. I could see the focus he had after Anaheim the first round. We knew he was a little bit out of shape there, that he really wanted to be in shape by this race. He and Johnny O'Mara talked it over. He has done everything he's needed to do to maximize his potential for this event, and it's showing right now.
Here's our Honda stopwatch on Ricky Carmichael as the watch was started as he went over the finish line jump. We'll see what kind of lap time he has and maybe get a peek at how far behind Jeremy McGrath is officially.
Laps McCormick right there, and even though it was a slight bobble, it didn't really turn into much lost time. Crowd stomping their feet as he goes past the front straightaway. A Floridian leading the Daytona Supercross.
And a Floridian has never won the Daytona Supercross.
And he just lapped Kevin Windham.
Amazing. He just moved past Well, he moved into the top 5.
That's what's so unique about this race. I mean, this track is so much different than what we normally see. To see anybody lap up inside the top 10 in a regular Supercross it's a pretty big story. Here, to lap Kevin Windham and have a chance to maybe lap up to 5th or 4th here is just incredible, especially with as long as the lap times.
Yeah, at 126 to 130 lap times. It is an incredible performance, no matter what happens to Ricky Carmichael as he weeds his way through 2 more lappers.
Kevin's really struggling, I think, right now. I don't think he has the fitness, and he probably wasn't able to go through his regular routine this week.
131.7 after a strenuous day of qualifying.
You know, I think that's just maintenance right there. I think he's capable of probably 129, or doesn't have to do it, though. He can look over his shoulder, get the signal from Chad, and know that that gap is growing on McGrath. So here he's just got to be smart.
According to our calculations, too, there's 5 laps remaining here in the Daytona Supercross.
That's a long time. It's going to be the longest 5 laps he's ever ridden.
Jeremy McGrath, who was looking for his 5th consecutive win of the season, passes his teammate Tim Ferry, number 15, and he's still looking smooth. He just can't pick it up a notch.
Well, I think Jeremy made a few mistakes. He got a little bit uncomfortable at the same time, and with lapped riders at the same time that Carmichael clicked off a couple of really fast laps, and that gap has stayed the same ever since.
Here's a guy in the last 8 races, won 6 of them, leading 119 of 160 laps during that period of time. That's incredible, and yet he has not led a lap yet here today.
Well, he just came off leading 80 in a row, so I guess we'll let him slide today.
Well, can Jeremy take advantage of maybe a possible mistake by Ricky Carmichael? Carmichael has not made very many so far in our 250 main event, as Carmichael leads it. McGrath, Villeman, Tortelli, and LaRocco the top 5. We'll return in a moment.
Styling of the Vulcan 1500 Drifter takes you back to another time. The engineering makes sure you don't get stuck there. Vulcan, only from Kawasaki.
It possesses a passion inspired by the world's fastest Falcon. And a history that could only come from Suzuki. Introducing the incredible GSX 1300R Hayabusa, the largest displacement sports bike Suzuki has ever built. It's proof you don't need wings to fly.
Stuart and I get the playoff picture back from the darkroom when we come back.
We're clear.
Oh, the prompter's going too fast. I can't keep up.
It's not the teleprompter. It's you. Now stop the.
My throat. I can hardly talk.
Give him some tea. Give him some tea.
I can't go back out there. I don't want to go back out. Cut me. Cut me, Lou.
Come on, baby. Come on. Snap out of it. Don't be a lollipop. Get out there. Tonight's your night.
Oh, without question, these days, the word on everybody's lips.
In the afternoon light, those shadows can play a big factor when part of your course is in the sun, David Bailey, and part of it in the shadows.
Well, you go back to the tennis, like the U.S. Open up in New York. The shadow moves across center court during the finals, and it really affects how those guys read the ball off the serve. Here, you got a lot more going on. That little fuzzy ball coming at you at 100.
What must be running through this young man's mind right now? Big relief should he win, and there, if he laps LaRocco, LaRocco's in 5th. Incredible.
I've never seen anything like this, Art. I've never. There he goes. LaRocco's cool to get out of the way. I don't think LaRocco's impressed at all, but I am definitely impressed with the kind of ride. This is a career day for Carmichael. He had to have it to beat McGrath, and boy, he has really pulled away now.
Here's Jeremy McGrath in 2nd place. Well, for Carmichael, he's never before known a win drought like he's been going through. He's gone 21 250 races without a victory. and coming into the 250s with all the horns blowing. Once Jeremy McGrath came in and won the title in his first year 250 action, then every phenom that's ever come out of the amateur ranks has expected to do that. And I think Ricky now is maturing into this role.
Quickly. You know, this is his second year on the 250, and look what he's learned. He's already picking up a win at the place that everyone wants to win at Daytona over McGrath, who's been on a hot streak. And no excuses that I can see from McGrath today. Carmichael has just outridden him, and I'll tell you what, I think a lot of credit needs to go to Johnny O'Mara, who has been such a great friend of Carmichael and has worked with him on his fitness. Told him, hey, you are not cutting it with what you're doing. You need to step up the pace. They worked really hard, and it shows.
Villeman in third. Can Ricky right now get to third place?
I don't know if there's enough time.
I doubt that there's enough time, and Ricky, of course, doesn't want it. He wants to see those laps go away real fast right now.
He could catch Tortelli, though. That's within his grasp.
Can Ricky Carmichael become the first rider to win both 125 and 250 race in Daytona? No one's ever got that double.
This is just a marathon right now. That shot of Villeman going around the corner a moment ago, he's just, you could tell he's going, please put out the white flag. These guys are so tired right now. Their hands are sore. The backs of their knees from gripping the side of the bike is chafed because sand gets all in your pants, in your boots. One year here, I got so much sand in my boots, it was like a size 7 at the end of the race.
And heavy. No 125 Eastern Supercross champion has ever won a 250 Daytona race.
He is on his
To
way.
the finish line once again. Jeremy McGrath, not really laboring, trying to hold his pace, but losing time to Ricky Carmichael. Let's go down to Davey Coombs.
Johnny, I know you've been a close friend of the Carmichael family for years. You've been helping Ricky train. You've been waiting for this moment right here. What's going through your mind?
I'm just so proud of him. I know he's got a lap to go, but he's going to do it. And he couldn't have picked a better one to win as Daytona in front of his fans. And it's the toughest one, too, so he's going to get a lot of confidence after this.
I think a lot of the credit has to go with you. You've got this guy looking as strong as possible. He's out here riding hard. He's using his legs. He looks like a man.
Yeah, well, I've always tried to emphasize to him that you got to be physically fit, and that's one thing Ricky's always listened in me, and today it's showing. And I think he's just going to, from here on, it's just going to be that much easier for him.
You can tell by Johnny's voice, he's been yelling a little bit for him this week.
Yeah, he's a little hoarse, isn't he? Johnny O'Mara, one of the fine champions in 250 Supercross and 125s as well, who never won here at Daytona. He knows what it means to win at this track.
He came close. The year I won it in '84, Johnny was closing on me, and he made a mistake, went off the racetrack. That's what allowed Johnson by, and then he just bonsai'd it over the finish line jump. Thought he got second. They didn't give it to him, and he was so mad he didn't go to the trophy presentation, and I kind of agreed with that because he really felt he had it, and I saw him do it. He's probably a little choked up right now. It probably has something to do with the way his voice sounds, but I'm happy for Johnny because I know that he is so proud of Ricky, works so much with him, and I'm glad Ricky listens.
The white flag is flying for number 4 on the Team Kawasaki, Ricky Carmichael. One more tour of this circuit, and Ricky Carmichael breaks the Yamaha string. Team Kawasaki has just got to be holding their breath right now as the Yamaha of Jeremy McGrath still rests in second.
Imagine the celebration for Kawasaki. It's been a while since they've been able to pull off a Supercross win.
Yamaha's won 8 straight victories here to start the season, but Kawasaki hasn't won. Team Kawasaki hasn't won since Jeff Emig at Dallas in 1997. The last winner on a Kawasaki was Tortelli opening up the '98 season.
I'm wondering what Chad's got in store for the pit board. It'll be something good.
He said it feels good on that pit board.
Yeah, there it is.
Almost to a snail's pace.
Well, he's got such a huge lead. He looks over at Jeremy. Jeremy's backed his pace down because he knows he has second locked up, so Carmichael could stop and take a bow right now and still finish this race in the lead. But Rocco's got to put on the brakes. He doesn't want to have to go another lap. He's going to stay behind. Well, I guess he is going to pass him as they go by. Ricky gets the board from the Chad.
He's pumping. Pumping the hand to the fans, too. Ricky Carmichael. There's Chad Watts, his mechanic, who's been with him through all that 125 success and all the depression and frustration of not being able to win a 250 race. Ricky Carmichael will become the first Floridian to win a Daytona 250 race. The checkers for Ricky Carmichael, who darn near coasts over the finish line.
He's tired. He's got to be tired.
Jeremy McGrath will take second place.
We're going to see some tired boys down there. These guys have worked so hard for this.
Chad Watts going over to meet his rider, as is Davey Coombs, to get some very happy words, I suspect. His very first 250 Supercross victory. Number 4 circles around the Daytona track on the pavement to thank the fans. We'll be right back in just a moment.
How far do you have to go to be the best on Earth? A long, long way. Introducing an all-new ATV with Honda's legendary reliability. Available with push-button shifting and four-wheel drive. The new Honda Rancher for the ranch we call Earth.
I've heard people say that too much of anything is not good for you, baby. But I don't know about that. It doesn't seem to me like it's enough. It's just not enough. My darling, I can't get enough of your love, baby.
One look at the Yamaha Roadstar, the world's biggest V-twin cruiser, and you won't be able to get enough either.
All weekend long, all kinds of racing. The race is on ESPN2. If it goes fast and looks cool, the race is on ESPN2.
The NCAA Women's Final Four, March 31st on ESPN.
AMA Supercross is brought to you by Suzuki. During Suzuki Fest 2000, get $400 worth of free accessories and great financing on selected models. And by Honda Motorcycles. Get great deals on our coolest shadows during the road to savings. And our thanks to the skybox seat provided by the Monster.com Blimp Trump. Monster.com is the leading global careers website with over 5 million members worldwide. Are you a member yet? Monster.com for work, life, possibilities. Well, another monumental, historic moment at America's oldest Supercross venue as Ricky Carmichael has a most perfect day of his life. Ricky lapped all but the top 4 riders. McGrath coming in second. Conditioning might have played a part, as David Bailey pointed out from 2 weeks ago and having the flu. Villeman in third, Tortelli fourth. LaRocco went from last to fifth. Let's go down now to Davey Coombs.
Ricky, I know that you've got 25 national wins and about 1 million amateur titles and things like that, but this is different, man. This is special. You just won the Daytona 250 Supercross.
I tell you, this is the biggest one of the year. I had to work for it. Jeremy was right there on my tail the whole time, and man, I just gave it 100%, and I wanted to go as long as I could, and I made it past that halfway, and he started falling back a little bit, but he don't have to win. He's won plenty of them this year. He's not, I mean, the championship is a long shot for me. I'm sure if I was up there racing, he would have gave it a little more, but I'll take it any way I can. He rode great, and I was just on today. I tell you, my Kawasaki was running great, Chevy trucks, all them guys. I'm Fox. Man, I worked my butt off. I tell you, I'm tired.
Hey, one last question. What did that lap feel like when you rode around the pavement?
Oh, it was the best, man. I wish I could do it many more times, man. I tell you, I'm beat.
David Bailey knows what that ride is like, that's for sure. As we take a look at the 250-point situation now, Jeremy McGrath with a 27-point lead on David Villeman. LaRocco 44 points back. RC is still in fourth, 64 points behind the leader, and Kevin Windham rounds out the top 5 points-wise. But taking a look from up above, David, That's an amazing ride, is it not, on the pavement?
Well, you know, it's so different in so many ways from any other Supercross, and to be able to get up there on the banking and get that close to the fans where the cars are going 190 through there, the history here, it's a special place, and Hannah's taken a couple of those rides. I'm sure Stanton and Kudrowski have. I got one in the bank, and I'll take it.
Pastrana wins his first 125 Pro Series race here at Daytona. Ricky Carmichael doubles up. He takes his first 250 victory in Supercross action. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs saying thank you so much for being with us. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.